Mike and Tom are registered with Steward Partners Global Advisors. Common Sense Finance with Mike Wiginton and Tom Farrell of HL Wiginton Capital Management, an independent investment and financial planning firm in downtown Jasper. Mike is a chartered financial analyst charter holder, and Tom is a certified financial planner professional. They are here to discuss and give their thoughts on current financial and economic matters. Now, with Common Sense Finance, here are Mike and Tom.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Common Sense Finance. This is Tom Farrell. I'm Mike Wiginton, and I have determined that the title of today's podcast is going to be Stunt Doubles and Other People That Act on Your Behalf. Stunt doubles and other people
That was good.
and other people that act on your behalf. Right off the top of my head.
I love it.
So we're always, to some degree, engaged helping people that are working through some problematic and difficult circumstances. Okay? And oftentimes, the circumstance at law, as a whole is something that could be created by the death of a loved one, that, maybe, nobody has anything to do with. It's just a unfortunate, set of circumstances. But oftentimes it is true that their difficulties are compounded by poor decisions that they've made. All right. Yeah. And so Tom wants to talk a little bit about that and how certain documents can help get folks through times that we're all, even if things work out perfectly the way we want them to, that we're going to find ourselves in these sorts of circumstances.
Yeah, and even if it's a short period of time, these things are, but typically it's not. Typically it ends up being a longer period of time where you need to have some of these mechanisms in place to help deal with. And the main thing I'm going to talk about today is having a power of attorney. And in this case, I'm assuming it's a child that's going to be a power of attorney for an older parent.
And by child, you don't mean a minor.
No, I mean an adult child that's has an adult parent that's older, maybe getting to the point where they're having some issues, and you really don't want to wait until there is an issue, because the purpose of a power of attorney is so you can act on that person's behalf for them. And what we're talking about today more specifically is going to be financially speaking, obviously, and we're not here to give legal advice, obviously, when it comes, if you make the decision, and hopefully you will, that, hey, this might be something that we need to look into, find yourself a qualified, reputable attorney that can go over all this with you. But we're just going to talk in general terms about this, because we see it all the time, and we've seen a few cases that did not work out so well, so we want to try to help guard against that. So the first thing is, a power of attorney needs to be durable, and I think if in the state of Alabama they are, I think that's kind of the default, which basically means if your parent has an accident or is incapacitated for whatever reason, has an episode in their hospital, if it's not a durable power of attorney, as soon as they're incapacitated, the power of attorney ceases to exist, or it doesn't operate anymore. So most power of attorneys are going to be durable, meaning even after some kind of event like that, it's still going to be in place, because that's when you're going to need it. So you're able to take care of their finances, pay their bills, things like that. But you can't wait until they have an episode to get a power of attorney put in place, because they have to be present and able to act on their own, to sign that power of attorney, before that happens. So, I think a good rule is to go ahead and have that in place, even well before you think there might be any issues, and you may agree or disagree with that, but that would be my rule, especially if you have parents that are aging, and whatever that means. Some people that are 75 don't seem like they're aging, but some people may be younger. So go ahead and get that put into place well before you think you might need something like that. There's also something called a springing power of attorney, so you may not want that that authority over your accounts or whatever before then. So there's springing power of attorney. So if there is an episode and a person is incapacitated, that power of attorney will spring to life. One thing is you have to be careful of, obviously, first, and this is very important, you want the person that you're assigning as your agent to be somebody you trust. Obviously when you sign this over and they have power of attorney over your finances, they can write checks on your behalf, they can do all sorts of things. So you really want to make sure it's somebody that you can trust and count on to handle your affairs in your best interest. The other thing is you can be very specific about the powers that this person has over your finances. It can be just to pay the bills. It can be basically you can set them up to where they are agent in fact. They're like you. I mean, they can sign, do anything they want. So there's a lot of room there to set these things up to where you can limit some things if you wanted to. I know a lot of them used to. I don't know if they're still like this. You may know this. You couldn't change beneficiaries. You had to have a special power to be able to change the beneficiary.
It has to be stated specifically in the power of attorney.
Right.
I wouldn't say it's a special power of attorney. I'm just saying that the way the financial institutions view that now is that if it's not specifically stated,
Gotcha.
then they won't honor that, recognize that ability.
Yeah. So get this set up in place. Find a good attorney that can walk you through this and answer your questions and kind of narrow down, okay, this is exactly what I need. Go ahead and get that set up. It's not a huge expense. It's most of the time it's pretty straightforward, they're pretty boilerplate, unless you have some special circumstances. But I would go ahead and do that sooner rather than later. That way you don't have to worry about if I'm in the hospital or I have to go, into rehab for an extended period of time. You have somebody there that can take care of your finances, and that's one less thing that you would have to worry about. I don't know if you have anything to add on to what I've said, but
Nope.
all right, that's it.
All right. See you next time.
Controversy. You get high. Does your daddy cry? Controversy. 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 Do I believe God? Or do I believe me? Some people wanna die so they can be free. So life is just a game. We're all just the same. Controversy. Controversy. Controversy.